Good morning, everyone. Happy 4th of July, 2010. Hope everybody's having a good holiday so far, and hope you have a safe and enjoyable one. I just wanted to give a little quick update this morning on our newest invest, 96L, in the Western Caribbean, located right here. This is the area I've been highlighting the last few days, and now we have an invest designated by the National Hurricane Center. So now we'll be able to run specific model runs on this storm. You can see it's starting to consolidate. We had a little bit of westerly shear yesterday, but now you're starting to see some thunderstorms flaring up now on the western side of this large envelope of convection here. So still kind of large, still needs to really consolidate itself and get going, but slow but surely this one should start to organize itself over the next 24 to 48 hours. Here's the water vapor loop. We have our other Invest 95L in here. I'm not even going to talk about that one because that one's not going to develop, so no need to talk about that. But here's our Invest 96L. You see a lot of nice moisture around this system. Dry air will not be a problem with this. See upper level high starting to build over it. I'm going to show you the wind shear maps here in a minute and show you some of the stuff that's going to be going on. Couple things that are going to come into play here with Invest 96L. We're going to have an area of low pressure developing off the southeast coast here. You can see this big upper low out here off the just in the corner of your picture here off the North Carolina coast. It's going to be another area of low pressure that's going to want to develop over here off the southeast coast. Some of the models have this just as like an inverted trough weak low. Some of them have them a little stronger. And what's going to happen is high pressure is going to build to the north here, and it's going to eventually move this system, whatever does develop out here, it's going to push it back across Florida. What this may do is actually create some northerly wind shear in this region in here. So we're going to have to see how this plays out depending on how fast this develops. Some of that shear might get involved in our invest or possibly Bonnie here. So something to think about later down the road. This isn't a slam dunk on development just yet. All the models are very all over the place in the weather patterns right now and development. So really don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we're really going to have to watch this for as it moves into the southern Gulf of Mexico. But that's something to keep an eye on, see what develops out here, and as that retrogrades back west, will it have an influence in throwing some shear into this area here. Here's also another feature, that other tropical wave out here. Again, that could be a player down the road if it could get north of the islands, but that's later in the week. And before I get to the shear maps, just wanted to show you the flow here today. Again, high pressure anchored over the eastern United States, and this is going to stay in this general area and probably even build back a little west. So the protection is on for the northern Gulf Coast, basically from eastern Louisiana to Florida. We're going to be protected by this high pressure. Whatever becomes of Invest 96L is not going to come north at all. Most like this thing's going to move. Now it's starting off a little farther north than Alex, so instead of moving more this way, it'd probably move over the tip of the Yucatan or maybe through the Yucatan Channel. So that's something to think about, but it's not going to come straight north. There's just no way that's going to happen. Here's the larger picture of the wind shear. I'm going to close in our invest in a minute here, but you can see upper level high building near our invest. Here's a stronger northerly wind shear that's just to the east of our invest right now. So this is going to be a player. We have our big upper low out here off the east coast here, and then we might have an area of low pressure developing in here and this is going to all retrograde to the west. So will this northerly shear play some havoc on our invest down the road? The models are kind of tossed up on that right now, but that's something to watch for. Here's a little close-up of the wind shear. Great Sims product here. I just love this product. It's great. This closes in on our invest here. You can see the center, well, where they think the center will end up developing. There's no low-level center right now, but in between. Here's Jamaica, Yucatan, so right in this area. You see, Alex was more down in here when it developed, so this one's starting out a little farther north, possibly. Again, we don't have a defined center yet, so we don't exactly know where, but you can see this northerly shear here, and this was blowing off a lot of those thunderstorm tops yesterday, but now you see upper high right in here, so you see the convection starting to build on the western side here. Still pretty big envelope here of convection. This will have to really get itself more consolidated and get a low-level center developing, but that's what we're going to be going with. It's going to be shear, no shear. Upper high is going to kind of move this way, almost like an Alex situation. But again, this northerly shear could play a little role in it depending on what happens off the southeast coast. And here was an ASCAT wind reading this morning, just a few hours ago, and you could see mostly all southeast winds in here, no low-level center at the moment. Even some of the ships and buoy reports, everything's southeast in here right now, so no low-level center yet. And again, some of the model runs today. Here we have the Canadian model. And once we put this Canadian model into motion, the CMC, you see this takes it, again, develops it right near the tip of the Yucatan and then off towards the northeast Texas, Louisiana, Texas border here. The Canadian and GFS are about the same here. And what they do is they keep this more of a progressive pattern across the eastern United States. Don't keep that high pressure locked in too tight. And the GFS is a little weaker, but they both bring the system up towards the Texas coast, and that's what we're seeing here. So it'll really depend on what happens. You see it also tries to develop a little low pressure with that other tropical waves, so we'll see what happens. But we're just focusing on our Invest 96 right now, and you can see. So that's the differences here. Now the Euro I'm going to show you in a minute, and I'm going to show you what they have. And here's the Euro model. This is for Tuesday night, and you could see low pressure here. Definitely a more western solution, and I'll show you what happens in about another 24 hours here. And then in 24 hours, again, more west, headed towards Mexico, almost like Alex Part 2. And that's going to be interesting to see. And again, I'm more on board with the Euro model right now. It has a more flatter flow, more typical of summertime, big high pressure anchored in here. And, it's been the pattern. So now this system is starting out a little farther north. That's why, I think the greatest threat for this is, again, going to be a Texas-Mexico issue here. Northern Gulf Coast, you're out of this one. No doubt about it. This is definitely going to be I'd even maybe paint western Louisiana to Mexico, but mainly Texas, Mexico. Again, you're in the sights if this one develops. And just before I want to go here, I just want to show you the tropical cyclone heat potential. You notice that Alex really took away a lot of this from it. It sat out here for a number of days, so if our system, if this is Bonnie, does more of this kind of movement this time, there'll be less heat to work with out here. The water temperatures have lessened a little bit, so probably won't get a major hurricane out of this one. But again, you know how intensity forecasting goes, but you can see how it knocked down a lot of that. Still ripe in this area here, so if this took a more northerly move here, you're definitely in a higher heat potential out this way. I just wanted to show you how interesting what these tropical systems do to the heat when a large system like Alex moves over it. So that's what we're looking at today. Going to keep monitoring our Invest 96L in the Western Caribbean. Nothing developing right at this moment. It's going to be one of those slow developers. National Hurricane Center gives it about a 20% chance in the next 48 hours. That's about right. I might even up that to about 30 to 40%. So we'll be monitoring that as we go into this early part of this week. I will have another update, probably not until later tomorrow, okay? Or maybe even early tomorrow morning if things start heating up out there in the Western Caribbean. Have a happy and safe 4th of July. Take care.